Most speakers think their message is strong enough to get them booked, but if you're not getting paid what you're worth, something is missing. Now, the truth is, high paid speakers don't just have good messages, they have strategic ones. In this video, I'm going to break down for you the three must have elements of a compelling message, the biggest mistake most speakers don't even realize that they're making, and how to instantly make your message more memorable so event planners can not ignore you in any way, shape, or form because you stand out like a great sore thumb. Let's dive in. Now, the three must have elements of a compelling message are simple. They're clarity, relevance, and transformation. Now, I'm going to break down what that means to you because it does matter. Clarity, essentially, if your message isn't clear, you don't get booked. You ever heard that statement that goes, was it? A confused mind doesn't buy. That's what it is, right? Well, confused mind also doesn't buy in. So if you aren't super clear with what it is your message is and what you do and how you bring it to the world, you're going to get lost in a shuffle. But even more so than it being unclear, it's like if it's also something that kind of blends in with the other messages to go from, surviving to thriving, from, impossible to possible. These are not unique. They're unclear. I don't even know what's impossible. I don't know what is now possible. I don't know what surviving to you means or thriving to you means, right? There's so much fogginess, and so many people lack this strength. And so what happens is your message isn't clear, so you're not going to get booked. You must have a clear message that lends to credibility and value and is concise, right? Second is relevance. You must make your message matter to the group you're speaking to. This message can't be one that's random and out there in the world, but you've got to have something that has relevance to the now. Like in our day and age, AI is a big one, right? There's also motivation, leadership. These are all going to be sound foundational concepts that have relevance to the here and now for a group or a company at any stage of the business. So if you have a message that's relevant, incredibly helpful. If you don't, you're going to have a message that nobody needs right now, and it's not going to be something they're going to pay a high fee for because it's not relevant to them. The last piece is it must be transformational. Your message must promise a shift or a clear, tangible change, because what happens is when you come into the room, they're expecting you to deliver something to their audience that's going to have the audience leave differently in a good way. There's got to be a transformation that takes place, even if it's a transformational seed of what's possible. When you do this right, people will walk in that room with one thought and walk out feeling completely different. When you do that, you're going to be a person that people see a high value with, and they're going to want to tell other people about you so that you can see them actually help get the same result, or they can see that other people they know get the same result that you gave them. Number two, a mistake that most speakers make is they don't realize they're making their message too broad. When you go out to the world and you want to be able to be a person that stands out from the crowd, and you have this great growth, right, with your message, if your message is loud and everybody hears it like you're talking to them, nobody listens. I call it the man in the corner concept. Listen to this. If you go to the city, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, the East Bay. If I go to San Francisco right now, there's a high possibility there's a guy in a corner, a girl in a corner, on one of them little square plastic soapboxes. And they're up on there with a megaphone yelling at the crowd. You should repent and, come to Jesus. And, they yell it out to the crowd. Now, when I'm out in the city, I'm a person I'm open-minded. But when I hear that, I tune it out. They're talking to everybody. I tune it out. I don't even listen to it. I'm just talking to the person next to me. It's completely ignored. But if I'm walking down the street and I see two people talking and one person's intimately close, I eavesdrop. I don't know about you, but I'm eavesdropping. I'm like, what is the person, what are they saying, right? Why? Because there's a precision and a connection. They're talking tight and close to one person. I want to know what they're saying, right? Being too broad gets you tuned out, but being tight has people draw in and listen to you. So you've got to make sure you're not speaking to everybody, but to one problem or one aspiration, right? It's big. The next part of this all is you have to make sure you're not just focused on too much inspiration, not transformation. See, whenever you're being broad and having an issue, like you'll call this the mistake most people make, is they think that me being inspiring and rah, rah, rah is all somebody needs. And yes, a part of that is necessary, right? But within the rah, rah, better be some clear transformational takeaways. I need to know what I can do from what you just told me. If you are inspiring me, inspire me to action, to transform my life, to change how I show up, to change how I do things. It's big. The next piece is the mistake that you make is you lack a strong positioning hook, right? If you're a person going into the world saying I'm a speaker, well, If meeting planners are looking for someone to speak, they need someone that is in the top of their mind. And if you don't have a messaging hook that has grabbed them, they're going to forget about you in the moment you need them to remember you the most. Somebody goes, "Hey, we need a speaker for an event. And can you give us some options?" If you haven't hooked into their mind with your message because it's clear and it's valuable, they're going to think of somebody else who did that. So your job is to make sure you clarify and make it locked in. We're going to go right now into a way you can kind of think about how to do this. I'll call this point number 3 is how to make yourself more memorable, how to hook in. The first one's what I call a one-liner test. Can somebody repeat your message back to you after they heard it one time? You'd be surprised at how many people I go, "Hey, what's your message?" And they start rattling off to me a sentence or two that I cannot repeat if I tried. Like I can seriously try and I'll usually butcher it. If that's the case, you're going to struggle to get yourself to hook into somebody's mind because it's a mental gymnastic flow to figure out what it was. And also, what's even worse, if they can't remember the sentence, they can't remember what's valuable about you. See, for me, when I go out to the world, my one liner is dark work, work in the dark, win in the light. That's it. Like that's how I start the. What do you talk about? Dark work. What's that? To work in the dark so you can win in the light. They go, "Well, how does that help people?" I go, "I help people develop dominators' identities." But that's beyond that, right? It's a concept of what I do with a clear message. Dark work in the dark, win in the light. That's it. Now, what happens is it's a one liner. It hooks in people's minds. They can think about it. I can talk more about it to anchor more the concept for them, but the main message doesn't get lost in translation. Also, when you do it, you should have emotional anchors, ways that make your speech stick in people's minds. So when I talk about dark work, they go, "Well, how does that benefit people?" And I go a little bit farther, but there's a moment in time where I enter this language piece. I go, "I develop dominators' identities that have one thought in defining moments. I have done too much work in the dark to lose in the light. I've done too much work in the dark to lose in the light." It's an emotional anchor. They're going, "Man, I know the feeling. When I've done all the work, I've prepared, I've built, I've energized and done so much, there's no way I'm gonna have this be for nothing. I'm gonna lock in and get this thing done," right? It's an emotional anchor. It feels guttural, right? You've got to make sure you tie that in so people connect to it. This is why the next piece I say is you have to have frameworks. You must have frameworks and unique phrasing. See, the best speakers, they create their own language, their own way of saying something. In fact, they create their own meaning for words you might have heard before. Or they make new words up and they give a meaning to it. Think of it like Uber. What was Uber before Uber, right? It means Uber good or Uber great, but nobody really kind of knew it. It wasn't a common English language word. Now it means something. You create your own phrasing, your own language. So when somebody hears it, they know it's your stuff and they know the value of it. He says, this is the way it works in all parts of the world for those who are speakers that have had a ton of success. So if you want to get paid like a high level speaker, your message has to work for you. So here's what to do next. If you're a person sitting here going, "Man, I love this, sounds great," drop a comment below this video. And I want you to tell me about your keynote message and more so, what is the thing that you could get some feedback on? What question do you have? What stress do you have? I'd love to help you out. So if you want, one, provide me some feedback. Is this helping you? And then two, if you have a thought or an idea, put in the comment section. I'll happily dive in and kind of connect and remind and give you some answers to help you navigate this stuff. But also do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I've got a ton more content that can come your way and will be coming your way, but you can also inform me of what you may want to know. And that way I can create some cool thoughts and ideas and trainings for you and just dive in and deliver them to you here. So again, hit the subscribe button so as more comes out, I can help you refine your message, get more gigs, and increase your speaking fees. That's it. See you next video.